Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Astrology with your friend Gretchen Heidel, full-time astrologer, life coach, Reiki master, and so much more. And I'm here live tonight. It's Monday. It's our Monday night date on September 18th, 2023. And I'm going over This Week in Astrology from September 18th all the way until September 24th, 2023. I can't believe we're already ending almost September. We're at the end of September. We're about to get into the fall equinox. So I'm very excited to talk about that. We're going to be talking about the start of Libra season. We have some big stuff going on. We have the last quarter lunar cycle this week, and we have a bunch of other astrological things. So you don't want to miss this discussion, this conversation. So if you're just joining me live, thank you so much. Make sure you comment below your astrological sign. Where are you tuning in from? What area of the world? And yeah, I'd love to see everybody. I'm just going to talk for a minute here as people join. We had a busy week last week. I don't know how anybody else was feeling, but last week was kind of cray-cray. Okay, we had the end of Mercury retrograde. So in case you missed it, Mercury retrograde is officially over as of Friday. Now, I say over, but you know it takes a little bit to get going and moving. And we still have 6 other planets retrograde right now, so it's still a lot. We still have a lot of retrogradness going on. Hey, Ashley, welcome. You're my first person to comment tonight. Sarah, Leo from Vermont, welcome. I love seeing you there. So yeah, so if anybody wants to go ahead and join, I see a bunch of people are commenting. I love that. Hello, Sylvia, New York. Rita, Virgo from Colorado. Welcome, welcome. Gemini, you said, Sylvia. Ashley, Sagittarius, Sun, Libra, Moon. Taurus rising. We have a lot of Libra energy coming up. We're getting into Libra season already. I feel like Virgo season flew by. I don't know about anybody else, but I feel that way. Hey, Joanne, welcome. Taurus from Vermont. Love that. Yeah, so I was just saying, last week we had 3 asteroids that moved into different planets. And by the way, different signs, I mean. By the way, if you missed that, and if you wanted to check out what does it mean when the asteroids move, you can always check out my video from last week on YouTube, where I put the timestamp. I can put the timestamps. It usually takes me a few days to do it because I have to go through and watch the whole video and then timestamp it, unless if anybody out there in the YouTube world knows of a different way to do it. But yeah, so timestamps means in YouTube world, you can go right to that section, hit the topic you want to hear. It's almost like they set it up like chapters of a book, and you can go right to that chapter and see what it means. So that's kind of a fun thing. Anyway, hello, Wendy. 2 Wendy's at the same time. Welcome, both of you. Ashley said, yes, it doesn't feel like Mercury retrograde is over yet. Yeah, that's why it does take a few days for it to get rolling. We're not even really in this, like it hasn't really straightened out itself out yet, but it is starting and it's moving in the right direction. So that is a good thing. So Mercury retrograde's over. We do have those 3 asteroids last week that changed position, and I'm going to start talking about one of them right out of the bat. And then we had that weird kind of love thing this weekend. I don't know if anybody else felt that over, on Friday, really Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 15th, 16th, and 17th. We had a weird love thing. So if anybody wasn't feeling the love this weekend, that's why we had a little hiccup going on. But now we're getting a little bit straightened out, but we have some stuff going on this week. So I'm going to jump right in. It looks like a bunch of people are here. Hello, Almir. We were waiting for you. Welcome. Taurus from Vermont. Welcome. Okay, so we have some interesting stuff happening. So it starts right away tomorrow on Tuesday, September 15th, and this is 2023, where tomorrow early in the morning, the sun is going to make its annual opposition to Neptune retrograde. So if anybody was feeling a little tired today, or a little bit like, oh my God, when is this day going to be over? Or I can't wait till tonight, or I got to put my feet up on the couch, or kind of just feeling a little tired or a little out of it or a little spacey, kind of forgetting things, This is why. The sun forming an opposition with Neptune retrograde in Pisces. The sun is at the end of Virgo and Neptune retrograde is at the end of Pisces. And this is what's going on. The peak or the height of it, the pinnacle of it, comes tomorrow on Tuesday at 7:17 a.m. Eastern time. So earlier than that, if you're out on the West Coast, overnight really at like 4:17 a.m. if that's the peak. But remember, these things last for a few days. So Sunday, Monday, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, we will feel this one. It'll be activated. Now, of course, it gets less strong after when I talk about these peaks in the pinnacle of something, okay? Like I always talk about the mountain, it's like climbing Mount Everest, and then when it releases, it starts to dissipate. The energy starts to loosen up, but it's not gone. It just starts to kind of free up, and then we can breathe a little bit. So that's basically what the deal is. So the sun opposing Neptune is always confusing. Neptune is the planet of confusion, illusion, lies, craziness. It is. Now, the good news is Neptune is creative. Neptune is very, very intuitive. And that might seem almost like paradoxical, right? Like on one hand, it's the planet of confusion, and on the other hand, it's the planet of intuition. Well, a lot of people are confused about their intuition. I'll just say that. During Neptune transits, I'm very, very, like, I always feel my intuition like goes like through the roof. However, it is like, what is the truth here? What's the deal? You know, it's like we're trying to find the truth, and it might all feel very confusing. So we have to kind of, you know, sort of learn our intuition, and when you start to recognize the voice, your own voice of intuition, or your gut feeling, or your vision that you see, whatever that may be, then it's one of those things that we will be able to embrace our intuition a little bit easier and a little bit better, and we can access our intuition faster. Hello, Robin, welcome, and Kelly, Gemini, New York, welcome. Oh, and Shannon, Leo from Vermont, love this. Kelly said, yes, for sure. Neptune. Yes, Neptune is very active right now. So pay attention to dreams also around Neptune transits, because dreams are definitely more potent, more powerful, and they may definitely contain some insights into something that's coming or something that's sort of happening in your life. So Neptune insights definitely can be interesting, but we often do feel a little cloudy, a little lazy. Sometimes even around Neptune stuff, we can feel a little lazy. We can feel a little just like afloat, like, where am I? What am I doing? You know, and that's not fun for a Monday for sure. I mean, you know, that's been our day that we had. Might have started, like I said, Sunday. I felt a little weird on Sunday. I know myself, I felt a little strange. So if you felt that way, this is really the planet that that is responsible for that type of stuff. So that's going to come, like I said, the peak of it is tomorrow. And then tomorrow I'm not going to get too deep into this. We have Mars is forming a quincunx with Jupiter. Now, you know, when there's a quincunx, say that 10 times really fast, it means that the two planets are not on the same page. So Mars is not aligning with Jupiter, in other words, and Jupiter is not aligning with Mars either. And so these two are on very different pages right now. They're playing by different rules. And so that means our energy and like, where's our drive and our ambition and our direction? We want to make things bigger. We want to have growth. We want to plow forward and move ahead, but we can't. Now, good news is that's only for one day. That's only on Tuesday. The peak of it is at 6:48 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday. And so we don't have to worry about that one. That's why I said I'm not going to go too deep into that one, but it is another factor on Tuesday. If you're watching this video and you want to know, oh, what's going to happen for this week, that's kind of what the deal is. We have a little bit of trouble with growth in the beginning of the week. But like I said, on Wednesday, we are going to have another asteroid thing. So I started to talk last week about this, and I want to continue the conversation. Hello, Andrea. Welcome, welcome. Aries from Vermont. Love that. So on Wednesday, the 20th, we have Ceres, the Great Mother, the asteroid Ceres, going to be forming a trine with Saturn in Pisces. Now, Ceres is in Scorpio, newly in Scorpio. In fact, Ceres just entered the building into Scorpio on Friday, the 15th, which is the same day that Mercury turned direct. And that was at 8:51 a.m. on Friday morning. Okay, so Ceres went into Scorpio, and now Ceres, the great mother, is a little bit more intense. She's a little bit more, looking beneath the surface and all those things. And so when we have Ceres is how we nurture ourselves, and Ceres is also our finances. Now, when we look at Scorpio, Scorpio is the ruler of the 8th house in our astrological chart. The 8th house is the house that is responsible for other people's money. It's like sex, death, and taxes. That's the 8th house. Okay, so it's a fully loaded house. And so when we think of Scorpio, we think about wanting to ensure that someone else's financial assets and resources and things like that are secured. So loved ones and things like that. It is a time when we could think about wills or trust funds or life insurance policies or things. And so Ceres in Scorpio forming a trine with Saturn in Pisces is all about sort of handling our responsibilities with discipline, maturity, and definitely having being more systematic. Like I said, being very disciplined. And so it's kind of like the great mother is Ceres, and then the great father, I don't know if he's so great, but the big daddy Saturn, they're both our parents in a way, astrologically. Ceres actually in mythology was associated with Zeus, married to Zeus, aka Jupiter, but it doesn't matter. It's kind of like the planet that represents mom and then the planet that represents dad. And she is a dwarf planet, by the way, Ceres, are kind of coming together and they're aligning. So that can be good. It's almost like mommy and daddy are getting along. But the problem is, how like if you're a kid and the worst thing is if your parents align on something, because then it's like, oh, you can't conquer, you can't get them to divide and conquer, kind of thing. Like, well, I'll just talk to dad and get my way and mom will have to go along with it. No, they're both saying no or yes, maybe at the same time. So good news or bad news, it's one of those things. So when we get into this, I actually think this could be very good for finances around this week. The peak or the height of it, Ceres trine Saturn, is going to be on Wednesday at 10:36 a.m. Eastern time. Like I said earlier, if you're on the West Coast, it's 7:36 a.m. But I think this could be very good for finances, and it is a good time. This week, we could be thinking a lot about fiscal responsibility, getting our money in order. Now, the other piece of this is, because it is mom and dad, and Ceres is nurturing, we could be thinking about caring for an elderly parent, or some kind of variation of caring and nurturing, maybe needing to care for a child or caring for a parent, though when you think about these two, they're more associated with like older folks. So this is about that. We're kind of like in other words, we have to be compassionate, and we want to be caring, and we want to be all those things. And Saturn's saying, well, let's make a plan. Let's have a rotating schedule, and Susie Q will come on Tuesday and this one will come on Saturday, and that sort of thing. So it's finances, but it's also caretaking, and it's also nurturing. But with Saturn there, and these are both in water signs. Remember, Scorpio and Pisces are both water signs, and it's all about the feelings. So this is very intuitive as well, this transit. This is a big transit for the week. That's why I'm spending a little more time on it. And even the next day, so on Thursday, on September 21st, the sun is going to form a trine with Pluto. Now, if you think about who's the ruler, who rules Pluto, well, Pluto rules Scorpio. So here we are again talking about Scorpio. There's a lot of scorpionic energy at the beginning of the week, and even getting into the middle of the week. The moon is going to be in Scorpio on the 18th, 19th, and 20th. So we have a lot of scorpionic moon, and then we have Ceres in Scorpio, and now we have the ruler of Scorpio, Pluto, getting activated on Thursday. That's going to be, like I said, on Thursday morning, overnight between Wednesday and Thursday at 1:21 a.m. Eastern time. So it'll technically be, if you're on the West Coast, it'll be Wednesday night, or if you're on the East Coast, it'll be Thursday, super right after midnight, early in the morning. And so that's something that we're going to be keeping in mind. Now, if we think of the ruler of the 8th house, the 8th house is scary to some people in their chart. Because it is sex, death, and other people's money, other people's assets, other people's resources, how you can build some wealth. But it is the topic of sex and how we connect with another person, and also passion. And it's also yes, it's the deep hidden things, Almir said. It can be the mystery of life. When you look at Pluto, you look at Scorpio, that's the mystery of life. It's sometimes the afterlife as well. So it's all those topics are kind of coming up this week. Joanne said, funny, that is what I've been doing, trying to get finances in order. And Wendy said, my aunt, oh no, I'm sorry, went into respite on Sunday and family is rotating to stay with her. Yes. See, so these are topics that are kind of either it's happening in your own life, or you might be talking about that with a coworker, or your best friend is going through it and you're just holding space for them, but it's around. In other words, it's astrologically around. A lot of people think that when I'm talking about these big things, that it has to happen to you, and each and every one of us are going to experience that. It's not the case. Obviously, and there's no way, for me to do a general broadcast and have that be accurate. However, I'm giving you the flavor of the collective. This is the flavor of the collective energy. So even though it might not be happening to you, you could be hearing about it from other people and experiencing it just through somebody else. So it doesn't have to be, directly affecting you in a way. Yes, Ashley said many of your planets are in the 8th house. Well, there you go. It's a very deep, that's a deep house, Wendy said you have Lilith in your 8th house. A lot of people are commenting on their 8th house. Yeah, I have my moon in my 8th house. I mean, a lot of people have 8th house activation. And so it is a thing. Before I was doing this, I used to sell real estate, which is other people's largest financial asset, right? So that was what I did for work. And, I like doing real estate. It was something that was paid the bills, and it was interesting to me, an interesting topic. And yes, I was helping and handling other people's finances. So yeah, so Scorpio, Pluto, 8th house, it's all a thing right now. And so these are all activated. So the sun in Virgo forming a trine with Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. I mean, they're trines. That's earth energy. They're double earth. So see, Wednesday we have the Ceres, Scorpio, Saturn, Pisces thing, which is water. And then the next day after we have earth, and earth and water get along really well. So this could be a nice sweet spot energy if you are an earth sign or a water sign. This could be a nice sweet spot in the week for you. It's not bad energy, luckily. Sometimes when I'm talking about Pluto energy, I'm like, oh, watch out, and it can still be intense. I mean, look, whenever Pluto or Scorpio is activated, it can get intense. And we have to watch that, but it can also be very deep. It can be very soul searching and very I want to find the deeper meaning to things, and I want to explore these topics and all that kind of stuff. So we'll be talking about that. And it is possible, because the 8th house, because Scorpio, because Pluto always has some sort of a connection, if you will, to mediumship ability or the afterlife, or being able to sense, feel, see, hear spirit. That is something we could get a visitation during this week. Sometimes these astrological energies kind of open portals in that way. So, deceased relative or somebody might come through and say hi, and somebody you've been missing or loving, a deceased loved one. I want to talk a little bit about that before I move on to the next astrological piece, because I do think it is something that I get a lot of people ask me questions about. And since it's kind of the flavor of the week and a topic that's here, there is a difference between ghosts and spirit. And I want to talk about that because some people lump them all together into the ghosty category. And for the topic of, for the sake of this topic, ghosts are different than spirits. What we refer to as ghosts, like, or a haunting, that's sort of a soul that's stuck, or a soul that hasn't crossed over successfully. Or it can be residual energy. It's not even like a full spirit. It can be a ghost. And then I call, our deceased loved ones that cross over, everything's good, they're okay, they're in the other realm. I call them spirit. So there's a difference between ghosts and spirit. And so spirit, you want visitation from. Ghosts, look, I'm a psychic medium. I don't even want to see a ghost. That's scary, So it's something that there is a difference. And spirit and ghosts can kind of walk around. I know that we've all watched a lot of movies about like the haunted house and the ghost is stuck inside the house. Well, that is not the case. They can move around. So it is something that can be a thing. We're getting into this time. We're not quite yet in Scorpio season where we'll be talking more about this topic, but for the sake of this broadcast tonight and also this topic, and our loved ones are always with us. They can always see us. They, and no, they don't, they're not hanging out with us in the bathroom and at other creepy sort of times. I was asked that recently if they were in the boudoir with us, and no, no. But they are at parties, they are at events, they do hang out with us during holidays. They are with us sometimes when we're alone, getting ready for bed. I mean, that is something that they can be with us at many different times in many different places, but they don't have, sort of the, they don't want to spy on us either. It's not creepy like that because, they are our deceased relative or a deceased friend or even a pet. They will come and visit. I will oftentimes, when I interact with spirit during sessions and I'm doing readings, that there will be times when, someone has a deceased pet with them. A lot of times they'll talk about, hey, look, I'm with my dog, or hey, I'm with my pet cow, or whatever it was. I have seen animals with spirits. So yeah, and they often will talk to me about that. They'll be like, show me my dog. So it's something that happens a lot. So anyway, so this is a portal week a little bit where there's going to be an opening in that realm. And those of you who have mediumship ability, even if you don't think you do, you might, the ability to sense, feel, hear, see spirit. Some people, and remember, everybody receives has a gift and receives information in a different way. Sometimes it's just a little, change in temperature, or the hairs on your arm will stand up, or you'll actually see something. You'll see an apparition, or you'll hear something. You'll hear a knocking, or you'll hear some. It just depends. Or even smelling. I talk a lot about how sometimes there's an odor that you'll sense. So it just depends on how you perceive and what your predominant way of getting information is. And everybody usually has at least one predominant way of getting information, whether it's the seeing or the hearing or the feeling or the smelling or whatever it might be. So just so that be aware, because a lot of people think they don't have gifts and abilities. I have a lot of people that I'll talk to in session. They think they don't have gifts or abilities, but maybe theirs is a more subtler way of getting information, but it doesn't mean that you're not getting information. You're still getting that. So I just want to make that kind of differential and kind of talk about that, because I get asked this a lot, even when people are sort of shy to ask, they want to know these things. And a lot of people will talk to me about it privately, whispering almost like, well, I heard knocking the other night. What do you think that is, Gretchen? And so that's something that is very prevalent, that more people have the ability to feel these things. It's not just the wind. And, yeah, a lot of people are commenting about their pets. I love that. Yes, exactly. Rita said the Stanley house. Yes, that's the house that inspired the movie The Shining, that we went to visit one time. It was really active. It had a lot of activity in that house. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, so So I hope that helps. So in the middle of the week here, we have the sex, death, and other people's money, assets, resources, and also caring for a deceased loved one, nurturing. And how do we nurture for ourselves? I mean, that's the big thing really, is how do we nurture for ourselves as well as others? I mean, yes, we put other people on a schedule. We have visitation, or we have a plan for other people. But how about ourselves? How about when we need a little schedule ourselves? And this is a good time to do it. Now, on Friday is the second chance new moon. We are already on the other side of this. It's interesting, of the new moon. We just had the new moon last week on the 14th in Virgo, and now this week we have the second chance new moon coming. There's something interesting in the fact that last month we had the second chance new moon in Sagittarius. And now this month we have the second chance new moon in Sagittarius. Last month it was 1 degree Sagittarius, and now this month it's 29 degrees Sagittarius. So it's the very, very, very beginning of Sag and the very, 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 very end of Sagittarius. It's sort of an interesting thing. I was noticing that little pattern there. Wendy said, what is it like to be dead? You'd like to have more information on that subject. I can't personally tell you. I don't remember, but I could talk about that. I think that's an interesting topic. We could cover that another time for sure, but yeah, that would be kind of cool. I can tell you what I know from people that have crossed over. And if anybody has had a near-death experience, that would be kind of a neat thing to talk to you guys about that. Okay, so on Friday, we have this second chance new moon, and that peak of it, the height of it, the pinnacle of it, okay, is 3:32 p.m. Eastern time, so 12:32 p.m. on the West Coast. And this is the time, if you forgot to write your new moon manifestation list, this is the second chance new moon. So we can write that list on that day. If you're like, oh, darn, you brought up the new moon and I just realized I forgot. Well, now you can do it on Friday, the 22nd, September 22nd. So that's a good time to do it. And you can do it anytime. It's good to do it on or after the peak of this thing. Now, remember, this is the half moon in the sky, and we're halfway between the last new moon and the next full moon. The full moon is coming at the end of the month, and that's going to be on the following Friday. That's going to be on September 29th, and it's going to be a super moon, and it's going to be in Aries. Okay, so any Libras and Aries out there watching, you are going to be feeling that full moon for sure. Every one of us will, but especially Aries and especially Libras, because the full moon is going to be in Aries. So this particular second chance new moon is a second time we're going to be visiting. So we must be needing to start something and restart something and start something again in Sagittarius. And so this is the time, we're right at the end of Virgo season. So the sun is in Virgo and it's squaring the moon in Sagittarius. That's what the second chance new moon is. The sun squares the moon. Just like during a new moon, the sun is conjunct the moon, and during a full moon, the sun is opposite of the moon. This time they're forming a square. So it is a time of tension, though I would say that the tension's more mild when we're halfway between the new moon and the full moon. It is a time we have to reevaluate something. That's all. We're going to be taking a look. We're reevaluating. We might have to redo something. We might have to revisit something. We might have to, kind of think, okay, I started this new thing, or I'm thinking about starting a new thing. How do I get rolling? How do I get started? Does it need new soil, fertilizer, all the kind of stuff? And so we're doing a little bit of a reevaluation on that day. And so that's in Sagittarius. Now, here's the catch. And some of you might remember and go, oh yeah, I remember this because there was a little push and pull during this last time. So this happened on August 24th. The sun was also in Virgo and the moon was squaring Sagittarius. Now we're doing this again. Virgo is all about the details and Sagittarius is all about the big picture. So we're having there, in other words, the tension comes because these two are totally in different signs. And that's what happens during the second chance and the new moon and full moon, the quarter moons. There's always a little tension. Well, these two are really having a tension. It's almost like Oscar and Felix, you know, from The Odd Couple. It's like Virgo wants to be like, let's do the details. Let's have the fine print. Let's read everything over and over and over and over again. Make sure we got the right thing. And Sagittarius is like, can I have the cliff notes? Like, can we just like throw it all in a bin? Like, I don't understand. Why don't we just label it like, you know, winter clothes? So it's big picture versus the small detail. Now, when we're talking about our hopes, our goals, our dreams, our aspirations, there's a little bit of a fight there. How am I going to get from here to there? That's Virgo's kind of more like the details of how we do that. And then Sagittarius is going, yeah, but what's the big picture? What's the big goal? Can't we just know the big dream? You know? And so there is a little tension, and we're doing this twice in a row, which means the universe must want us to review this once again and then again. Now, we've been reviewing a lot of things because Mercury's been retrograde, and we're going back over and back over and back over. And by the way, Mercury is in Virgo. Now, what happens when the planet goes retrograde through a sign is that the sign, it goes, you know, typically it goes all the way or part way through the sign, and then when it goes retrograde, it's going backwards through the sign, and then after the retrograde's over, it goes through the sign again. So we're getting time after time, swipe after swipe. I call it the windshield wiper effect. It's like the swipe after swipe after swipe. So we're really getting to know that lesson. And so right now, you know, yes, Mercury retrograde's over, but it's still kind of going through Virgo. And now we have the sun at the very end of Virgo. And it's like kind of like the last like hoorah that this second chance new moon is doing, is that like, okay, we're going to, you know, do this thing. We're going to just look at one more time. One more Virgo thing, one more Sagittarius thing, and then we'll be able to go. Because that's kind of unusual for the second chance, the quarters, you know, to sort of repeat themselves. But this time there's no name for that. Actually, I was thinking about it. I was like, it's not a blue moon, it's not a black moon. What kind of moon is it? Well, there's no official name for that, but this is kind of unusual that we're having two swipes at the halfway mark between these two. Okay, now the next day, and again, remember to write your new moon manifestation list. The next day, on September 23rd, is the entrance of Libra season. Yay! So happy Libra season to everybody. My camera's dipping down here on YouTube, by the way. If I am co-recording between this camera and another camera for YouTube, so if you guys haven't done it, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. So we are in Libra season, or we are entering into Libra season. Now, if you're born around this time, make sure you know, like, officially, are you really a Libra? Are you really, you know, a Virgo? Because a lot of people think it changes at midnight, and it doesn't. Every year it changes. So this year, it changes at 2:50 a.m. Eastern time. So again, it's going to be on the day before, on the 22nd, if you live out on the West Coast. But on the East Coast here, it's 2:50 a.m. Eastern time. We'll be entering Libra season. And that is also every year the fall equinox. How do we know it's the fall equinox? Because that is when the sun moves into the astrological sign of Libra, and that's how we know. And so, yay, we're going to be officially starting fall. We're officially starting Libra season, and this is a wonderful thing. And so if you have Libra in your chart, you know, lovely, congratulations. This is your season, and happy birthday. You're going to have your solar return during that. And if you are an Aries, this is your oppositional time, you know, opposite time in the year that will be in your sign. Now, if you are another air sign, if you are a Gemini or Aquarius, I'm sorry, my camera's dipping here for some reason. If you are Gemini or Aquarius, that will be an air sign. Libra's an air sign, so yay, the air signs will be kind of activated. And if you're a Cancer or a Capricorn, you'll feel this too, because Libra's a cardinal sign and you're a cardinal sign, so you'll be feeling this Libra season. How do you feel during Libra season traditionally? Do you like Libras? Do you have a lot of Libras in your chart? Is Libra your best friend? how do you know what house Libra is in? Because that's where the sun is going to be moving through in your astrological chart. And we are going to be officially kicking off the fall equinox. Now the equinox, what's the difference? I get a lot of questions asked, what's the difference between the solstices and the equinoxes? And Amir, I know you're watching this broadcast, and Amir is a master at doing different kinds of rituals and ceremonies. And I would be very interesting, Amir, to know what you like to do during this time, if you wouldn't mind putting in the show notes, because I'd love to hear from you if you have any kind of favorite ritual. This is the time where we celebrate the acorns and the pumpkins and the squashes and all the different things that we're going to harvest, at the end of the season here. The fall is an initiation. Cardinal signs are always coming at the start of a new season. So Libra is the start of the fall season. And so what's the difference between the solstices and the equinoxes? The solstice is where it's the longest and the shortest day of the year. But the equinoxes are the equal days of the year. There's equal day sunlight and equal time moonlight. And so it's 50-50. And that is Libra season, okay? So we're just starting Libra season. So if anybody out there, Ashley said Libra moon for me. Rita said Libra rising. Yes, that's kind of like your new year for you. When you have your Libra rising sign, and the sun leaves the 12th house and goes into your first house, that is like almost like a little mini new year, new you. And so, yeah, so welcome everybody, and congratulations everybody who is a Libra out there, that you will be having this joyous, lovely, wonderful Libra time for you. Libra is about balance, fairness, justice, beauty, all the different lovely things that Libra's associated with. Libra's major life lesson, all Libras that I know, is relationships, relationships, relationships. It's about balance, like I said, the equal time of the year. It's about balance. It's about fairness. It's all those things. If you think of the United States justice system, the ladies' scales, that's the same symbol for Libra. And so that is a wonderful time, wonderful time. Yes, Melinda said, great time to cleanse crystals. Absolutely. Cleanse your house. Bring, start to get prepared for the fall, prepared for the winter, having those beautiful mums and different flowers that we can come up with. And I think that would be a beautiful thing. Now, I was going through my notes and I realized that the stones for Libra in September, if you're a Libra September, there's not many Libra sun people on here tonight. It's too bad. You're kind of missing your broadcast here. I apologize. My camera keeps falling down here. But the official stone for September Libras is sapphire. And the official stone for October Libras is opals. And sadly enough, I love both of those. And sadly enough, I do not have either of those stones. I was looking through and I'm like, I can't believe I have so many stones and so many crystals. And opal is actually one of my absolute favorites, and I don't have those. Okay, so Amir said, thank you for the shout out. Yes, he has a wonderful Instagram page. Go check out. I have a pumpkin wish ritual and an acorn for luck coming up. Oh, I love that. And you work with surrounding seasonal goodies and everything nature provides. You can go to his Instagram page at Earth Spiritus. I love your page, Amir. And so, yes, they're very cool rituals and things. So basically, it's one of those things that what does resonate for me with Libra is this beautiful stone here, and this is rose quartz. Agate is another sort of secondary stone. Another stone is peridot that kind of resonates here with Libra, and that's really cool. But if you're thinking about the ruler of Libra is Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. So if you think about Venus being love, self-love, love of others, if you think about Libra and relationships and balance and fairness and beauty, look, if you want self-love, this is your stone. And I love this stone, or love of others too. I mean, this is a great time to sort of harvest that. Now we will be working on our diplomacy. our diplomatic abilities, and also all about relationships. Yay! Because if you think about Libra, Libra is how do we partner with another? How do we share? Aries, Libra's opposite sign, is all about the self. It's all about number one. Okay, so now when we go to the opposite side, and Libra is the ruler of the 7th house, and the 7th house is the marriage house. That's the house's marriage and partnerships, so business partnerships too. And so now we're working on how to have partnership, how to play well with others. If you are a very strong, independent, I gotta do everything on my own person, you will struggle during Libra season, because that is not the lesson. The life lesson for all of us is to learn how to play well with others. It's not always easy. Famous Libras like Gwyneth Paltrow and Kate Winslet, they are super Libras. Kate Winslet is a double Libra. She's Libra sun and moon. And Gwyneth Paltrow's got 1 million planets in Libra. She's got a lot of Libra in her chart. So if you think about Libra being ruled by Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, it's all about our beautification. It's all about making our home a sacred space and all those types of things, making our home beautiful, making ourselves beautiful. Oh, yay. Lori is joining the broadcast, and she's an October Libra. Great. So we have our first Libra sun person on the broadcast. You have quite a few opals. That's awesome. Rose quartz and peridot too. That's great. That's great. I love that. That's wonderful. I love opals. I'm gonna have to work on this because I need some opals in my life. Okay, so I was doing some research. So the ruler, the archangel, I should say, not ruler, but archangel that is associated with Libra as Jophiel. Now, Jophiel is, remember, all the archangels are portrayed as a them, their situation, they, them situation. But Jophiel in artwork is often depicted as a female. So I'm going to talk about Jophiel as a female. I know, Joanne, Opulenza, which I am a representative of, I should say a little plug for myself. Opulenza designs jewelry. I'm wearing a lot of Opulenza tonight, jewelry. I always put that in the show notes if anybody ever wants to check it out. Has a ton of opals. Joanne's on the team with me, or I'm on her team, I should say. And we have a lot of opals, so I should be purchasing some opals there for sure. Jophiel is all about it. Her nickname, Archangel Jophiel, is the angel of beauty and wisdom, or also called the beauty of God. Okay, so that's Archangel Jophiel. And archangels are in all of, I don't say all, but many major religions. In Judaism, Catholicism, whatever, the archangels are spoken about. And the archangels do have astrological associations with all of the different signs. So Jophiel is the archangel that rules over, or I keep saying rules, but influences Libra and is associated with Libra. So if you are looking for understanding, if you're looking for compassion, and if you're looking to see things in a more balanced, clear way, I apologize, my camera keeps moving here. Then we're looking for Archangel Jophiel. Jophiel is also really good at helping us to see the beauty in situation and helps us to replace ugly thoughts that we are having in our head to beautiful thoughts. I love that. I love that idea. It's funny, she's associated with being a companion to Archangel Metatron. And also has a flaming sword. So a lot of times she's depicted with a flaming sword. It's said that she has a flaming sword and she is guarding and protecting the tree of life. I think that's interesting because one of the oldest trees was on the island of Hawaii, and it did burn. It did catch on fire, but they said that the tree there might be protected. It actually might have some growth and some life in it still. So I'm wondering if Archangel Jophiel protected that tree. They doused it with water, and they've been watering it and monitoring it, and they think that underneath the charred bark that underneath of that, they think there's still life left in the tree. So that would be really good. So I was thinking about that tree when I saw that she had protected the tree of life. I was like, wow. So how do you know when Jophiel is around? Okay, so she's associated with the color yellow. She's a soft, pale yellow. I don't know why my camera's falling here, but I think it has something to do with my stand not being correct here. Anyway, so she's associated with the color yellow, so she could be citrine. So if you want to pray to Jophiel, you don't need anything to pray with. But if you were thinking of connecting with Jophiel, connecting with citrine would be a good pale yellow, any kind of stone like that that's yellow. The other thing is she's associated with the number 3. So 333 is Jophiel's number. And I think that's interesting because I'm always seeing 333. And so that's Jophiel's sort of influence. If you ever are looking for signs, you know, to see like, are the angels, do I know the angels are with me or around me or whatever, that is the deal. She, when we have, I'm sorry, my camera keeps falling and I can't get it to stay up. Let's see if this works. There we go. Ashley said she saw 333 the other day. Okay, so here is patience, and it's funny, I need patience with my camera. Archangel Jophiel, you need to help me with my camera. Okay, this is the card of Archangel Jophiel is patience. Okay, and I'll read this. Your dreams are blooming more rapidly than you realize. Still, they need nurturing and patience. Kelly said citrine. Well, citrine's associated with a lot of different stones. Signs, Kelly. She said she thinks that citrine's associated with Gemini. That might be the case, but that is true. And really, anybody can use citrine. It's not like you have to be a certain sign. Anybody can use citrine, but that's basically what the deal is. So anyway, so patience, I'll read you. Your dreams are blooming more rapidly than you realize. Still, they need nurturing and patience. Okay, here we go. Clear your space, Archangel Jophiel. Get rid of clutter. Clear your energy around you. Use feng shui. Okay, make your space beautiful. And Archangel Jophiel, here's the yellow, right? Outdoors. Go outside, get some fresh air, connect with nature, relieve stress, and gain new and creative ideas. You know, if you go outside, look at, you know, this is the fall, and Libra's the fall. And so it's the start of the new season. So that is another good thing for Archangel Jophiel. So again, if you need to have a little bit more patience, understanding, compassion, Jophiel can help us. But Jophiel is also good for helping fairness, being able to see the truth in a situation, those types of things. Because if you remember, Libra is also the justice, and justice isn't always like, you know, justice sometimes can be, you know, so that is something that we got to keep in mind. I know that in astrology, a lot of Libras are sort of painted as like, I don't know, like they walk around like, I'm just going to be balanced and fair. And I'm like, really? Because in real life, you know, Libras a lot of times are striving for that. But they might not be that, you know, I mean, and I've seen a lot of Libras be very, very, very unbalanced in real life. It is said, I don't think this is true, but it is said that Putin, okay, is a Libra. Now, I don't know that we have as accurate birth information because I don't know that Putin would even allow people to know that. But it is said that he is Libra. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think that it means that we have these things. It's almost like when we talk about Virgo and Virgo season, like every Virgo has their shit together basically, and that they're all OCD and they have every single thing perfectly organized. No, Virgo's soul is striving to do that, but that's not the case, you know, I mean, because none of us are perfect, right? Well, it's the same with Libra. When we're looking for that balance, fairness, justice, beauty, and wonderful relationships, well, it doesn't mean they have them. It means their soul is striving for them. So I always want to make that that clarification, because I think when we talk about archetypes in astrology, a lot of astrologers get really like, oh, this is the thing. And it kind of creates like a feeling like, oh, I'm behind or something, and we're not behind. Wherever you are in your soul's evolution and growth is where you're supposed to be. Okay. So it doesn't mean that you're behind. But it does mean a lot of times Libras do stay in relationships too long when things get out of balance, when things get toxic, because they're trying to sort of equilibrium, whatever. They're trying to make it sort of more stable. And sometimes we don't need to do that. Sometimes we need to go. Okay, so that's the sort of shadow side. We all have shadow sides, every one of us. And Libra's shadow side is codependency and sort of staying, like trying to make toxic things not toxic. It's like trying to equilibriumize. I don't even know if that's a word, but trying to kind of neutralize, I guess, and get everybody to balance out. And sometimes that's not possible. And sometimes the Libra is trying really hard. And I've seen Libras knock their own scales out of balance themselves just to kind of practice the balancing act. So remember, it doesn't mean we have all this stuff figured out. It means that they're striving to figure these things out. So that is happening. The start of Libra season again is on September 23rd, 2023. So 92323, which is sort of, an interesting numerology. That's going to be starting on Saturday, very early in the morning, 2:50 a.m. Now, the next day, we do finish out the week on the 24th with Mars forming an opposition to Chiron in Aries. Now, Mars is in Libra and forming an opposition to Chiron in Aries. And that's going to be at 4:07 p.m. Now, Chiron's something we need to heal, and Mars is the god of war. Yikes. So just as we get into peaceful, peace-loving Libra, let's have everything be balanced and fair and beautiful, and then we get this Mars thing going. And so that could really test us a little bit here. We're trying to work on and strive for, with Mars being in Libra, the same thing. We're working on and we're striving for these things. And now we have Chiron there too. So that's a little wonky. That's a little wonky, that transit. That's coming at 4:07 p.m. on Sunday night. And again, earlier if you're on the West Coast. But that is this week in astrology. So we have a lot of lovely, lovely transits this week. We have, just to recap, and by the way, if anybody has any questions, you can start typing. I am going to definitely pull a collective card for the week. But first, I want to recap. We have this beautiful energy series forming a trine with Saturn. That is, oh, thank you, Andrea. First 100 stars of the night. Ding, ding, ding. Beautiful, beautiful time during the middle of the week with spirit and potentially with nurturing and potentially with our finances. And then we have the second chance new moon coming. It's really a second chance, a second chance new moon with the sun in Virgo, the moon in Sagittarius. And what are we doing? Are we doing too much details or not enough details? Are we doing too much big picture or not enough big picture? I mean, that's kind of the thing. And then on Sunday we have Saturday, we have the Libra season starting with the sun going into the astrological sign of Libra. And then we also have this Chiron thing. And even, I missed it, even on that day, on Saturday, we have Venus trine Chiron. So Venus and Mars are both going to be interacting with Chiron over that weekend. That's on the 23rd and 24th. That means something needs to be healed. Just saying. That means we're working on healing. We're working on healing something physical, mental, spiritual, or emotional. We're working on healing something. Chiron can be all those things. It's just healing in general. And for every one of us, it'll be something different. Chiron is in Aries, and it's a really long transit in Aries. It's in Aries the longest out of all of the signs. So we're having a long time of Aries Chiron. Yes. Yes, Lori, you're putting your meditation and attention. Yay. Let's look. Lori wants to know, do we have any thoughts about financial abundance? That's a wonderful thing. It's so funny because literally this jumped out into my hand. Speeches and speaking, Lori. You have important messages to deliver that can help others. So that could be teaching, that can be writing, that can be doing something with a book, or, you know, even giving a speech or some kind of a thing, a training, Lori. But that means that you have something that the universe is saying to get out there and put out there. And you might be shy or don't want to say it or whatever, but it's saying that you should. You should be saying it. Oh, Lori, look at this. I was like, I want additional information. And in different decks, they are basically the same card. This is Mercury. Okay, so Mercury is communicating. Okay, and then we have speeches and speaking. So there's something here coming out that you need to be working on. And by the way, Mercury is a teacher. So sometimes that is, like I said, training or doing something. But you have something that the universe wants you to get out. I do feel like you have a little bit of a self-confidence issue, or maybe like a public speaking. But boy, it feels like you're on a track though. It does feel like you're on a track. This is interesting because Jupiter is, you know, like a big picture goal. And then this one even is saying you will reach your big picture goal. This is the you know, keep your eye on the star here. So it's saying you're headed in a very good way, but it's like almost like getting there has been hard, is what it feels like. There's been a lot of potholes and twists and turns and things like that. I almost feel like you're going, are you in school for something or just learning a new topic or something? And then like you're headed towards this bigger thing. But it feels like there's something with that, Lori. I don't know if you're still on the broadcast, but there you go. I hope that helps. Diane said, what do you expect in your housing situation? Let's see. Ooh, it's been kind of bumpy. Diane, you're getting very different cards. They're a little bit harder cards. There's been some conflict, Diane. This is the rules and regulations card, Diane. It means like there's something going on. There's been maybe some fighting. This is Mars, the god of war. But there's a change coming. This card is a good news. World card means that it's going to wrap up. But when there's an ending, there's a new beginning. Like when a door closes, a window opens. And so it does feel like there could be a change here or a different way of doing something in your housing is going to change. Like if you have a roommate, then maybe you don't have a roommate. Or if you're going to move into a new thing, you might move into a different location. But it feels like a door closes, a window opens. But there's been a lot of struggle in the housing, feeling like, I don't know if it's somebody you were living with or something, but hopefully that's behind you because that does feel difficult, I'll just say. So I hope that helps. Diane, I don't know if you're still on. Nobody's commenting, so I'm not sure. Okay. All right. Well, I hope that helps everybody here. All right. So I'm going to pull one card for this week. Libra season, the start of it. We have the second chance new moon. What do we need to know about our life here and our time together and all this wonderful stuff? Juliet said, thank you so much. You're welcome. If you guys want a personalized astrological session, please feel free to reach out to me. Diane said she's having connectivity issues. Oh, you're welcome, Diane. You're welcome. I hope that helps. And you can always watch it on the replay on YouTube if you haven't subscribed yet. Make sure that you do so. I know it's hard to get a hold of me sometimes with scheduling. I apologize for this. I don't have an online scheduler yet. I am working on it. But for now, texting me. My phone number is all over the place. Text me. I don't want to say it out loud on YouTube, but text me, or you can send me a DM. But really texting is like in my face. There's like 9 different social media messages I have to check and I often miss them. So if you really want to reach out, just go ahead. Yeah, I hope that helps. Lori said, you've been listening to your guides. Good. Angels, spirit guides, your guardians. I have a lot of experience with loss of loved ones. I'm sorry. And healing. You want to share and help others find their hearts and love. Yes. Yeah, like you could do almost like a death doula training or something. I feel like there's something you could do, Lori, that that is heading toward something like that, where you will guide and teach others. That's what it feels like to me. Okay. What do we all need to know? Angel card of the week, Archangel Jophiel. What do we need to know? Oh, interesting. I swear to you, I have many, all different cards in this deck. And look, here we are. Speeches and speaking. Somebody else, I think Ashley was saying she had a speech to give. Well, it's saying we need to communicate effectively. I'm going to pull another card too, because I feel like we need more information. Again, it says you have important messages to deliver and help others. Okay, so a lot of us might be asked to speak, communicate, get our ideas and our thoughts across, teach somebody. Also, we need to listen. That's part of speaking. It's listening. Oh my gosh, a friend of mine said there's an acronym for WAIT. If you're talking and talking, wait. Why am I still talking? Is that right? Why am I talking? Is the acronym for wait. And so we have to remember to listen. Okay, so what do we need to know, Jophiel? There's some more information, I feel. What do we need to know? Yeah, we have a lot. Okay, so speeches and speaking. We're getting the card from leadership. And here we are with yellow, Jophiel, leadership. Okay, this is Archangel Gabriel card. It is time for you to assume leadership power, position, and lovingly, remember that's Libra season, lovingly guide others. And we do have moon cycles. There's a lot of activity. I get this feeling like we're supposed to be, we're repeating the repeat with this second chance new moon. Lunar cycles means that Archangel Hanael, notice how the moon affects your energy and manifestations and capitalize upon these cycles. Well, this is what I'm always talking to you guys about and teaching you guys, is how to do that. And so please remember, write down your goals, put them on that new moon list. Make sure you get it out there. I don't care if it's a bullet point, just do something, because that is really... I get a lot of people that will say, well, I like this. And I'm like, did you ever ask your angels? Did you ever ask your spirit guides? And they're like, no, and I'm like, well, how, yes, God, the universe, Buddha, the angels, whoever you pray to, hears our thoughts for sure. But let's get it out there. Let's really say, like, this is what I would like to have. And even if you don't know what it is you want, use broad terms. Say abundance, a happy relationship, better health, whatever that means to you. Maybe you need to lose weight. Maybe you need to gain weight. Maybe you need to eat more calcium. I don't know what it is, but say, I want better health. Okay. Leave it broad. I'd like to travel more. I'd like to, go to school. You don't have to say what you're going to school for. So I hope that helps. Capitalize on these moon cycles, because they really do help us. It's almost like, yeah, you can manifest at any time, but the moon cycle is like, gives us a little bit of power and a little bit of punch behind it. So I hope that helps. Again, if you'd like to have a personalized astrological session with me, please reach out to me. I hope you guys have a wonderful, loving, beautiful fall equinox, okay, celebration, lovely ritual, lovely time. And I will see you guys next Monday night, 8 p.m. on Facebook Live, or like I said, I co-record on YouTube as well. All right, everybody, take care. Namaste. Have a good night.